Well, there were some key episodes for me. As I said when I went on the show, I had nothing but a dramatic background. I'd done dancing and singing and silly things, and I loved musical comedy, but I didn't know what I was doing. And early on, Carl saw some spark of humor in me, and he wrote a script called My Blonde Haired Brunette. And that was an episode where Laura, after having felt that Rob was no longer attracted to her, decided while he was at work she was going to bleach her hair blonde and did it, and it looked horrible. She looked like Harpo Marx, and she tried to get it, with Millie's help, get it dyed back before he got home. And she ended up getting only one half of her head done brown, and the other half was still blonde. It's a license we could take that Carl gave us. And Dick walks in the door and sees me and just bursts into laughter. And he comes over and puts his arm around me as I start crying. And he wants to know why, what happened. And then I try to tell him in a funny kind of crying way what happened. And it was just because you in the morning you said that I am, and then the yucky and the eggs that spilled, and then you didn't love me, and I didn't. And it was very funny, and that proved that I could handle comedy for Carl and everybody else. And from that show on, they began writing toward my ability to cry with humor, and any other thing. Then one of the next shows was the packages that would arrive for Rob, and I would open them, and it bothered him that I was opening his mail, and he made me promise that I wouldn't do that anymore. But he began to suspect that I wasn't being truthful. So one day the doorbell rings, and it's the delivery of an enormous brown cardboard box tied in string, and I put it down in front of me. And you can see that the poor girl is just dying to open it and knows she's made a promise and doesn't really want to. So she starts toying at the string with her foot, and she can't get it loosened. So she finally just goes down to her knees on the floor in front of it and chews it apart and opens up this thing, which he fully intends to just repack and put away so he'll never know. And it's a life raft. It's one of those big yellow life rafts that inflates bigger than she is. And she hears Rob about to come in, and she carries this thing, trying to take it God knows where, but she ends up being in back of it, against the wall, hovering for fear. And he comes in and looks at it, and of course does that wonderful thing that he would always do at Laura, and just quietly tickled inside by her misbehaving. That was another one of those great favorite shows for me. There were several variations, my child. There were some O-Robs that were definitely written in, but I don't think any of us knew how they would grow. I mean, literally swell in different directions. That one would be oh, Rob, or then the next one would be, oh, Rob, and then the classic one, oh, Rob. And I don't even think we were aware of them until after the show was off the air, to tell you the truth.